Hi, how are you? And you're very welcome along to our lesson today, which is topic 8, which is our technology in sports. So we had a look at the impact technology has on coaches, referees, participants, administrators, the developments in technology. We need to have a look at the positives and the negatives. Our latest one now is media in sport. Okay, remember this is a prescribed topic annually. Okay, so it's on your 2025 Leaving Cert. And we need to have a think about the impact of media in sport. Okay, so even yourself, think about how do you access sport? What way do you follow sport? So you think to yourself in terms of Sky Sports, TNT, RTE, Virgin Media, the power they have now on us in terms of sport. So we get to see loads of sport. It's on morning, noon, and night. You know, the Premier League is on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's FA Cup, there's Champions League. All of these are impacting how we're consuming sport. Okay, what's that impact like on the player? Okay, if you have to be accessible at all times through other forms of media in terms of social media, how is that impacting them? And what are the positives and negatives of that as well, okay? So let's have a look at what we're going to look at in this chapter. So elite sport and mass participation. So the impact of media on sport. Sorry, just trying to keep the light on here. Elite sport and mass participation. We're going to have a look at media's role in maintaining gender stereotypes. So what is the impact of the media in terms of how we behave as a gender? So as a boy and as a girl, what is the impact media is having on us? So if you're sitting here watching this as a teenage boy, what way are you being impacted because of Instagram and because of what you see from your heroes, whether it's Ronaldo or Messi or Henry Shefflin or TJ Reid. Henry Shefflin's a bit old now, is he? Johnny Sexton gone as well. Oh my God, all my examples have changed. Sam Prendergast to Pogba is gone. Haaland and I nearly said Brian Fenton. Elite players. How are you being affected as a teenage boy? And as a teenage girl, are you seeing many females in the media? Now, it has improved. We're going to have a look at that. What sport gives media and spectator appeal? And can you can you analyze the impact of media coverage on spectator behavior? Okay, so what's the different type of media? TV, radio, written press, internet, and the big one, social media. You have a look at Twitter, now called X, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and how big all our athletes are on them now. And what are the requirements? Doing questions and answers, posting how you feel after a game. Poor old Man United players for a while, every game, I'm sorry. Okay, it's so easy to access media nowadays and sport. The red button, we can watch different angles. There's sports shows directly dedicated to it now in Ireland and everywhere. Okay, so media in sport is huge and they are contributing massively to the finances of it. Okay, so Sky Sports are pumping a lot of money into it and they therefore have a little bit of power in how the competitions are run and how much access they get to managers and so on. Okay, so media and sport, they're the different types. And what's the influence? So sponsorship and TV coverage dictate many decisions made in elite sport. You'll be aware of the 12:30 kickoff in soccer in Premier League. That is brand new. They used to all be 3 o'clock. Up until 7-8 years ago, there was no 12:30 kickoff. That is because we want to have a 12:30 game, 3 o'clock game, and a 5:30 game. Why? More people watching, more sponsorship, ads in between them, loads of people. If I have 10 million people watching Man United Liverpool and I want to sell an ad for Domino's, geez, if I'm going to have 10 million people watching it, I'm going to pay for that ad in between. What type of ads are on in between our sport? Gambling ads, fast food, boots, trips abroad, that type of stuff. We don't see washing up detergent, okay? It's sports, it's the sponsorship target at sports viewers, okay? Influences commercialism in sports, so companies are advertising, there's TV revenue generated, and we're paying the players as a result. All the money that if you ever think about how are they paying players £300,000 a week, 1.4 million, 1.2 million a month, it's because of the money they're getting from TNT and Sky. And think about these games are on in India and China and America and Australia. It's all of them media companies paying. They're not making that money from the gate receipts of tickets. They're making it from media. So the sponsorship and the money in sport is all coming through media, okay? And what are the positives and negatives? So have a think yourself, positives and negatives. So positives, getting to see loads of sport, loads of access to Haaland now and Salah and, not so much GA players, and rightly so because they're amateur, to, Robbie Henshaw and to Simone Biles, lots of access to them. What are the negatives? Pressure that's coming with it. Okay. The dictation of the media companies to win sport is on. Okay, all the interviews they have to do. So let's have a look at a little graph. I'll be screenshotting that if you're on your phone here or taking a picture of it. Motivates people. Yeah, I see people running the marathon. I might go for a marathon. Positive values. We see people picking each other off the ground. We see unbelievable feats. We're impressed by them, and it shows the positive values of sport. Positive role models. Look at Katie Taylor. Look at Rashida Adelecki. Look at Andy Lee. Look at all these people. Kelly Harrington. Look at all these people that are doing incredible things. And that's a positive role model for us. Revenue and jobs. Yeah, so there's jobs in Sky and RTE. Revenues for charities. They often partner up, so that's a good thing. It's a high standard for performance and behavior. If I know there's 25 cameras on me, I'm less likely to do what they used to do in the 80s, where they might be punching and kicking off the ball. Status of sport and society, that is huge nowadays. It's massive in sport now, whereas not so in the 70s and 80s. Exposure to minority sports, so we may be able to see a little bit more sports, particularly Olympic Games. You know, the way we all get into the shot put and we're all mad into 400 meter running all of a sudden, and we all love, I'm going to watch the shooting or the heptathlon or the pentathlon. That's a brilliant one. That's so brilliant of media. Educate spectators through analysis. So I never thought of that side of it before. And that's a good way to organize a defense or attack. New supports and provides a sense of belonging. So new supports are coming in and a sense of belonging. We're all watching the Irish rugby team together. Okay. Negatives. Dictates event scheduling, like I said. So now we've got the 12:30 games. Managers are not happy. Players are playing more than ever. Tired. Injuries. Sometimes competition rules and traditions are altered. So before the game, we'd have the national anthem and we'd have the different things. They're all dictated to by media. That has to happen now at 5-3 because we need to go to an ad after that. Okay. In America, the length of time that takes for timeouts and so on has increased. Half time in the Super Bowl's got longer because they have more money to sell. Okay. Spectators attend, I don't know statistics on that. So spectator attendance at live events is dropping. I'll tell you one thing, in England, the 3:00 kickoffs in England aren't allowed to be broadcast live in England. Okay. They're not allowed because they did notice that, but I'm not sure worldwide if that's having a negative or a positive effect. Performer privacy is intruded on. So Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. So they're being contacted 24/7 now. Messages, direct messages. Yeah, you don't have to read them, but it must be hard not to. Your confidence and your ability, because there's so many eyes on you. Officials and their decisions are being scrutinised now. And then on media, look at Wayne Barnes after the Rugby World Cup final in 2023 got death threats because he made the wrong decision. Disproportionate coverage on popular sports. So we have two different ones there. Loads of soccer coverage, loads of rugby. Where's our coverage of snooker and darts? We only see darts at Christmas. Discourage activity by encouraging armchair. That's similar. Provides coverage of athletes' inappropriate behaviour. Yeah, so we see coverage of inappropriate behaviour. So if I see loads of images of Wayne Rooney or Conor McGregor when they've done these bad things, is that influencing other people to go and do that? Or is it kind of giving that a kind of a different angle where you're like, well, if he can do it, I can do it, or she can do it. And then pressure to win undermines traditional values. So that's a really important slide there. Please make sure you make note of the positives and negatives of media and sport. So media and elite performance. So media holds a spotlight over these elite athletes and the sport and the athlete themselves. So now they have to try and be saints. Athletes are open to unfiltered judgment and criticism by media. You can throw up anything you want now on X or Instagram about James McLean or any player that you want. This media is driven by sponsorship and commercial, but it can also impact athletes' decisions in life. So James McLean gets lots of abuse because of his stance on different things got to do with the poppy and his beliefs about where he came from and where he grew up. And he gets abused morning, noon and night on social media. And 20 years ago, you couldn't do that. It would have to be face-to-face. And now it's a lot easier. The keyboard warrior, An invasion of privacy is a byproduct of this. Okay, so there's just some articles there. We're obviously not going to go through them. They'll be on the notes. There's a continuous need to perform for these athletes. So performing on the pitch is now not enough for athletes. They have to do social media, interviews. They have lifestyle choices to make. I can't just go for a chipper or a pizza or a couple of pints because there'll be someone there videoing me and putting it up on social media. Simone Biles didn't take part in the 2019, which ended up being the 2020 Olympics because the pressure was so intense on her. Paul Pogba, there's more interest in his haircut than there is about how he's playing football. So he's more media attention from that. Being a role model and an advertiser for the team, you have to show all these positive values. So you're a 24/7 athlete now if you're in elite sport. Okay. Poor old Ronnie O'Sullivan, when the pressure and expectation performance can cause anxiety and stress to be increased. Ronnie O'Sullivan, best snooker player of all time, arguably, rang the Samaritans before the World Championships, saying he had stress and anxiety worries, all linked to the scrutiny he was under before that final. Okay. So that's all the eyes on us now. The cameras, there's the fans, there's the social media, there's the TV, the radio, the paper, all of these eyes on it. And we have to have an understanding of how much that will impact our elite performers. Sponsorship and profile, this is linked to media. Athletes asking more and more media work to endorse products. Say that you flew with this company, say that you drink this, say that you wear these trousers, say that you drive this car. They do get paid, but it impacts training and family life, leading to stress and anxiety, and can drop in mental energy levels. So I know for a fact that a Premier League player has to do 10 media media, what's the word I'm looking for? They have to do 10 media obligations a year. So I have to go to this charity and I have to go and endorse this product and so on. So it's not what we see where they train and play. There's way more because of social media and companies and sponsorship linked to media. Okay. Media sales with easy access to Athletes Live can be very intrusive. Frustration. Rory McIlroy's breakup with his wife, to be at the time fiance, was picked up through the media and he was vilified. He was absolutely criticized for it. And same thing now with his new wife, and the divorce proceedings were published on the social media. Same with 2016 Olympics. Poor old Rory McIlroy was debated out in the public sphere. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone could say he's a clown not playing for Ireland, or he's an idiot not playing for England, and everyone had an opinion. And this is why psychological preparedness for performance is so important in the modern age. So chapter 2C, you have to shut out all that noise, is really important. Okay, you can do this yourself. Investigate someone how media has impacted them. Just for your own knowledge of it. Okay, what's media done for mass participation events? So mass participation sports are sports that have large number of participants, from 20 to 30 people to thousands. 5Ks, road races, adventure races, triathlons. Your Tough Mudder, your Hell and Back, and all that. How has media impacted them? Well, sure, you know the answer. All the advertisement of them this, I'd say you've seen this 100 times. That ad for Darkness into Light. You've probably seen these on your social media popping up about Tough Mudder and where they're on. Media has had a massively positive impact on mass participation events. Dublin Marathon sold out within an hour or 2 hours. What did they do? They put on a half marathon. How did they advertise it? Social media. Sold out again in 2 hours. So now you have a Dublin Marathon with 22,000 people being sold out, and the Dublin Half Marathon sold out. I can't even remember the numbers for that one. This is how much people are looking to be involved in it, and social media and the media are driving it, which is great. Okay, so motivating people. All these events are accessible, showcase the positive values of sport. Again, money is raised. The London Marathon's essentially known for being a charity event where you run the marathon in a chicken suit. Important role in advertising, profiling, and important these events. And GoFundMe pays the user through social media for participants. That's all through social media. That was not around 20 years ago. You've grown up with that. That was not around 20 years ago. Okay, so that is a little bit on our what we were asked to know there was sponsorship and TV coverage, our media and sport, elite sport, how it's affecting us, and what's the good thing in terms of mass participation. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. We're going to go straight into another one. I'm just going to bookend this here before we go into media and gender stereotypes. Okay.